I'm Jeff, a healthcare analyst consultant trying to keep up in the world of AI and not trying to get left behind. And I'm trying to document my entire journey so I don't fall behind building in public and also trying to take advantage of the opportunities in this world. So today, one of the things I'm struggling with and trying to think through is what is the transformation that I'm promising to them? And to them is going to be future customers and the people that I'm trying to help inside my main channel, which is Get a Data Job. And recently, I'm making the pivot into helping healthcare workers specifically to transition to healthcare analytics. So now it's what is that transformation? Because when you lock down the transformation, you can actually figure out what you're serving, who you're serving it for, and if it's valuable to them. So let's jump in. And this is the second time that I recorded this, so I already have everything written out. So here, we're going to start here on transformation. The reason why we're starting with transformation is we have to figure out where they're starting from, what is the pain, and where do they want to be. Before, I was targeting the general analytics, become a data analyst niche because it was easy. Because the pain is they're sending out hundreds to thousands of applications. They want to become data analysts, but they can't get jobs. Easy, reputable company, reputable role, and easy path. Makes sense. And then they want to get into a higher analytics paying role. But now we have to figure out the new audience is similar. I'm just niching within this data analytics audience because I've been in healthcare analytics for over 13 years, is now working on healthcare workers, mainly healthcare office workers. So this is healthcare professionals who work in usually in the revenue and care management side. So this is people who work in insurance, people who work in PBM like I do, and specialty clinics, anyone who touches or works with data on the business side of healthcare. So here we have to think about what is a good transformation. It has to be something that is specific, valuable, believable, and desirable. And one of the easiest ways to figure this out is there something, what's the one thing or the many things that keep them up at night? And you focus on, when you're going into a new niche, you focus on this. You focus on the pain. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is the pain big enough that the value and the content and ultimately the products and the services and the software that I build, people will buy and get value out of and consider it a deal? I'm looking for time, money, convenience. That's usually what you're looking for. And there's three main categories: health, wealth, and relationships. And then this is falling into the wealth category when you think of the major niches. And you want to think of what is like their ideal outcome. And then you have the stages of getting them to their ideal outcome. And then solutions, software solutions, services, products will solve for different parts of this, or it could solve for the entire thing. And when you can go from scratch to the full outcome, then that becomes worth and more valuable as a whole. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And that's what I've been working through these last few videos. We narrowed down my niche because the videos have been declining. And it's trying to figure out where I can niche down further inside the big data analytics niche. Because ultimately what I want to do is I've been working with learning AI on the side, and we've been learning products and development at work as well. And I want to learn how to build a SaaS, which is basically software as a service. So productizing some of the services and then selling that. And then also wrapping it around services, maintenance, and support. But probably starting here in the services, then productizing it, and then moving into SaaS. But first, we have to figure out what are people willing to pay for. And because we're targeting healthcare workers, we're trying to figure out what is their ultimate transformation. This is the transformation. So a few of my thoughts were, we're leading them into becoming healthcare analysts. That is one of the easiest things, because it used to be become a data analyst, but now you can, an easier transition is healthcare workers into healthcare analysts. So they can stop being inside, they have higher upside, they make more, they can get out of a more clinical setting or a more face-to-face setting. And ultimately, what I want to be able to bring in with the content as a whole is make this a healthcare analytics channel where I can also reach healthcare decision makers. And this is going to be my ultimate client, because these clients are going to be kind of what I do at my work currently, but I do it at enterprise level. I want to be able to do it for a mid-market client, where when I first started was where I was. And who's in mid-market for here? Mid-market is going to be smaller healthcare companies, specialty. There would be provider groups, medical groups, IPAs. That's where I first started, which is an independent provider association. You have specialty clinics, think dermatology, think plastic surgery, dental. You have pharmacy. You also have small regional health plans as well, because they will have departments that don't have analytic support, but they have a bunch of manual work that needs to be done that can be solved with automation or AI. And then inside the mid-market, looking at a recent video, mid-market, which makes sense with the vendors that we have, is going to be around about 10,000. And then enterprise level is about 100. Enterprise is feast or famine. I have a friend's husband who does this, and whenever I talk to him, he talks about how the sales cycle is very long and very stressful, because it could take a year, multiple years before they can close an enterprise client. So we'll see about the enterprise, but mid-market for sure. But that is later in the funnel of who I'd want to consult with eventually. And then when we look at this, what is my ultimate goal in terms of like upskilling and learning AI? It's to be able to do it within work and then build AI empowered applications. But what I've figured out and what I want to head towards is become a full stack AI healthcare consultant. So basically, I'd be building custom automations with or without AI in legacy or modern software solutions. So why legacy? Legacy is going to be anything from Access, anything from Excel, because there's going to be a lot of healthcare systems, offices, that medical groups that can't pay for a full SQL server, a full virtual server, or they're not allowed to, but they still have a lot of work. So then we would be building in legacy tools, which I do currently for our department, because there's going to be certain projects that are important, but don't have the funding to go to a full IT funding route, where you have to go the full process, and it's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of time. And sometimes you just need to move fast. So then that's why a lot of it's built in the legacy route, but it's also because it was inherited, and a lot of the tools and processes were built in Access and in Excel and SQL Server. The modern route is going to be building web apps, using Python, Power BI, Tableau to solve more of those problems. But then being able to have both of these is going to be a skill, and I'm modernizing my skill set right now. I'm modernizing it with AI, Python, and then visualization tools like Power BI. But I'm still in the middle of learning this. So eventually that's what I want to be able to offer to consulting clients later, because I have a unique skill set in where I came from in terms of HCC risk adjustment on the Medicare Advantage side, and also on the Part D side for PBMs, which are pharmacy benefit management companies, where they basically are healthcare companies or healthcare insurance companies that manage your pharmacy benefits specifically. So that unique experience has given me insight into some of the generating revenue activities and places where to save money for these big companies that most people just never get exposure to. So that's what I'm thinking for this section. But the top of the funnel is being able to just create a awareness around, or a brand around, healthcare analytics in general. And then to be able to target healthcare workers, which is also going to include healthcare directors, healthcare managers, startup founders, and other healthcare decision makers later on top of the funnel. Or these people go from healthcare workers, and then they use their new data healthcare analytics skills to get promoted, and then I can work with them here. Now, when I talk about funnels and I say top of the funnel, what I refer to is this. This is a marketing funnel, or it looks like a triangle. This is basically, it's how do you go from a customer not knowing who you are, not knowing, to making the sale. So there's different levels of this. When I say top of the funnel, I'm referring to awareness. So it's all the things that all the activities that go from being unaware to aware. So here I'm focusing mainly on content. So then when we think of content, we have to think of what are the problems that healthcare workers, my avatar, my ideal customer, is facing in these places currently. And this is how I'm going to start differentiating myself from the rest of the market, and also how to do better and get better reach on my videos, because it'll be more niche. There won't be better. It'll be harder for people to compete with me at this level. And they call it going from a red ocean to a blue ocean, because basically everyone's competing in a red ocean, so it's a bloodbath. You want to go to a place where you have little competition, where it's a blue ocean and there's not that many competitors. So here in the content side, what can I solve here? The main thing I can solve is burnout. Healthcare workers experience massive burnout, and also just workers in healthcare in general, massive burnout. A lot of the employee surveys that I've seen talk about burnout as one of the main factors that they're experiencing. And one of the easiest ways to alleviate burnout, at least from how I can help, is what I do normally at work with my coworkers and projects and directors, is I build tools and I have the skills to automate their processes to save hours. And ultimately, that leads us to what the promise of the channel is going to be. And like the transformation is for you to become, or the healthcare workers to become, the go-to technical person on their team. Because one of the things that I found is when you're the go-to technical person to the team, you become more valuable, you become irreplaceable or unreplaceable. And the fear of AI that everyone has, you no longer have that fear of AI, because you're starting to learn how to use it, how to implement it, and how to be more productive. And through using AI, I literally have saved years of my learning curve, years of productivity, and hours of just gain back time from using AI. And this is something that a lot of people are not diving into. And this is one thing that I can start teaching as well. And also productivity with AI in specifically healthcare. So to healthcare, so that why would people watch me compared to everyone else? And why would people come to me compared to everyone else? So that's what I'm leaning in towards more. And when you become the go-to technical person, what is the outcome that we're looking for, which is the transformation that I was talking about in the beginning? It's usually to get promoted. Yes, we're going to save them time so they're less burnt out. That'll be like what the main channel does. But then all the services, software after that will lead to getting promoted, unlocking higher roles. And the easiest route is to become a healthcare analyst. But then there's also unlocking higher levels. But I'm thinking breaking into a healthcare analyst role might be the easiest for healthcare workers, but we'll see. Because ultimately, that will make them more money, save them time, and we can lead them to this transformation of just being happier overall. Because I've been there where I started in healthcare in temp data entry, and my work was boring. Mind-numbing data entry for a diabetic registry, and I would just come in, type in, listen to podcasts, and then hope that what I was typing in was good. And I always dreamt of like, what can I do to get a permanent position and then get out of this? And then eventually I worked my way through various departments, got promoted from being more technical, and then became a benefits analyst. But even as a benefits analyst, I was so bored that I was trying to figure out how could I get into a more interesting analytics role. And then eventually left for marketing and then came back as a data analyst. And then I was able to do more interesting, more fulfilling work. And this is exactly what I want to help people with through just the free content on the main channel, on the Get a Data Job channel, and then anyone who wants to work with me on this part to like speed up the process, get more coaching, more feedback. This is what I'll be working on, the community portion, and then ultimately building a brand that helps me with the consulting portion on this side. So this on this side. So that's the plan right now, and that's what I'm leaning towards. So I won't know if this is the right business segment demographic to go after yet. The only thing I know that is I need to take action continuously to keep testing all of this different content over a long period of time. Let's say about a month, actually three months, and then we'll see and keep testing with different segments, different hooks, different content to see who this speaks to, who responds, and then if they ascend into the community, and then see what actual problems people are solving and running into, and then me solving for those problems. Yep. So that's my initial thoughts. That's what I'm going to do after this. I'm just going to start taking action. And if you're interested in joining the Analytics Accelerator program, I'll help coach you through everything. You can see the whole process of me building out this whole community as well. And ask me any questions. It's free right now. So just join, be active, and we'll see you inside. And I'm just going to log off, and I'll see you later.